What's up, these people? Titos here, and welcome to a brand new top 5. Today we're gonna cover the top 5 physical types on Dokkan Battle. Now, of course, as always, this is global version. This is what's available on global at the moment, and LRs are not included. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with my favorite physical units. And before that, we're gonna go through some, of course, honorable mentions as always. So let's go ahead and go through the honorable mentions, and as you guys can see on the screen, we have 6 honorable mentions like always, and they are all amazing units. Honestly, they could have easily made it to the top 5, some of them, especially the Goku Black and the Vegito Blue, but there were better, of course, there were better units, but these ones really had to be mentioned at least, because we have the brand new TUR for the Spirit Bomb Goku from the Turles event, and actually that one is really good. It actually causes supreme damage to enemy, greatly lowers defense, and its passive skill is attack plus 10% and defense plus 20% per key sphere obtained. It doesn't matter the color, it is just per key sphere obtained. And that is amazing, that is actually pretty good. It makes him a really viable nuker and tank as well, because plus 20% for every key sphere on defense, that makes him pretty good, solid to tank some hits, and overall attack plus 10%, it's a good nuker ability. So that makes him really good, honestly. Do not overlook this unit, it is really good. After Awakening, of course. And then we have, of course, a lot of supports, since Physical actually has a lot of supports that are really good on this game. And we have Bardock that is really good with Ki plus 2 and attack plus 20% for all allies when HP is 30% or above. That is really good, because 30% or above, I mean, you're basically gonna have that all the time if your team is good. And just plus 2 Ki and plus 20% attack for all allies, that makes the team pretty strong, so that's really good. We have Pan, which is one of the best supports on Physical, of course. Attack and defense plus 30% for all allies when HP is 30% or above. Pretty good physical support. Of course, it serves as a good support for any type of team. It doesn't need to be Fizz, but overall really good, because attack and defense plus 30% is really a good percentage for both those stats on overall team. We have what is the best support unit, at least from all the physical types, which is Gohan, with all allies attack and defense plus 35%. That is amazing, really solid support unit. And then of course we have the Blue Vegito, which is a great unit overall. We all know about Blue Vegito, all the units are really good. This one has a great chance to launch up to 2 additional attacks, each of which has a chance to become a super attack, and damage received from normal attacks is minus 30%. It's not a lot, still decent though. It's a decent tank for normal attacks, and it counters with tremendous power. So that right there is what makes him really good. This is the OG super class lead, because it used to be the super class Ki plus 3, HP attack and defense plus 50%. Of course, back in the day this was amazing. Now there's much better options, but he's still a great unit to run on a physical team, or even a super team if you want to have him and you don't have any other Blue Vegito. This one is still pretty good, so it had to be mentioned. And there is Goku Black, of course, the original one with physical type, HP attack and defense plus 100% as a leader skill, which is really good, pretty decent. No Ki, but it's a 100% overall boost, and that's pretty good. But the best of it is actually the passive skill as well, which is a really good support with extreme class Ki plus 3, attack plus 3000 for every key sphere obtained. So it's kind of a nuker as well, with the plus 3000 attack for every key sphere obtained, and he's a really good support because he gives plus 3 Ki to all the extreme units on your team, and that makes him really good as well, so that had to be an honorable mention as well. And that is pretty much for all the honorable mentions. There are all really good units. Of course, there is much more for Fizz than I'm showing here. Honestly, there is a lot more that's pretty good, but in my opinion, I feel like these are my favorites, and they are all really good and should not be looked down upon, especially that newest Goku. That Goku is pretty good, honestly. And after all this, of course, we're just gonna go ahead and start with the best 5. So, starting on the top 5. Now on number 5, of course we have what is Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. Now Gotenks is a really good unit, and he's number 5. He's number 5 especially because I don't really use him, and I mean overall it's not one of my favorites. It's super attack, it's not really something that really takes my attention or anything, so I decided it is really good, it deserves 5, not more than that. So he's here with the leader ability of Super Physical types Ki plus 3 and overall 120%, so he's one of the newest 120% leads. Extreme Phys type Ki plus 1, HP attack and defense plus 50%, that's pretty okay if you want to run an extreme unit or 2 on your super team or overall physical team. And that is pretty good. His super attack causes immense damage to enemy, raises attack for 1 turn. That's pretty good, raises attack for the entire team. And his passive skill is really good because it does plus 120% attack, plus an additional attack, plus an additional attack plus 60%. I almost couldn't read that, my bad there. totally blew up there, but okay. And defense minus 30% for 7 turns from the start of the turn. So that is kind of the down that he has for me, is that it lowers its defense minus 30%. That's a bit of a, that's kind of a blow on its defense there, you know. So for me that's not quite good, but overall he's still a really good unit. It hits really hard, honestly. Like stat wise he's pretty balanced, honestly. He has the same amount of HP and attack, defense is pretty decent, but that lowering the defense there, it's kind of meh. But damage though, he does a lot of damage, so he's of course a must-have on your physical team. And of course if you don't have any other good leader for a physical themed team, then you should definitely run this as your lead because it's the 120% lead. That's what makes him really good. So yeah, and its card art looks amazing though. Best card art for Gotenks in the game, of course. So that right there makes him at least number 5 on my list. On number 4, we're moving on to the extreme 120% lead Cooler, the final form. Now this one is basically the same leader skill as Gotenks, but inversed for extreme types, of course, so this one is better for extreme types. But overall I feel like it's better than Gotenks in the sense that it's more relevant in the game, because for me, what makes him more important than Gotenks in the game is that Cooler actually gives more of a use to the extreme types overall, which are pretty difficult to use. And Cooler actually gives it a pretty good use, being one of the best leads for at least extreme physical types. And it's a pretty good overall unit, because its passive is attack and defense plus 100%, and launch an additional attack which has a chance to become a super attack, so it always guarantees to attack twice. And units that have that, honestly, I love them. They're amazing. They do tons of damage, and if you get twice of the super attack, that is crazy, and you can still get even more additional with the potential system. That makes him really good, and overall Cooler is amazing. I always loved Cooler's design on his final form. Much better than Frieza. I gotta be honest, it's much better than Frieza for me. And he's just great, and he greatly lowers defense with its super attack as well. So that makes him really good. To me, overall, it's more comfortable and easier to use than Gotenks for me. But of course, overall super, it's better than extreme, but that's why I feel like Cooler is better, because Cooler actually is one of those units that gives you a way of using extreme types in the game. So that's why he's number 4. On number 3, we have Omega Shenron. Now this one is a category lead, so that makes him already really good, and he's the Shadow Dragon Saga category. Ki plus 3, HP attack and defense plus 150%, physical types Ki plus 3, HP attack and defense plus 50%. That is an amazing leader skill, category elite for Shadow Dragon Saga, which could be better, if I'm honest. It could be better. That's why he's not gonna be higher than 3. It's because its category, it's not the best. It is okay. You can kinda do something with it, but hopefully with time it will get better. We need more of the Shadow Dragons in TUR forms with better stats overall. and maybe then it will be a good category and maybe it will be better to use. But until then, for now, this is my number 3. And of course it's not only because of that. I mean, he has, of course, immense damage to enemy and greatly lowers defense. That is amazing as well. He's a great extreme unit for physical types, and you can run it along with Cooler as the leader if you want to, so that makes him even better. And his passive is attack plus 120%, all enemies attack and defense minus 20%. That is an amazing support skill right there, because it basically nerfs all of the enemies attack and defense by 20%. That makes it already really good for any extreme team, and launches an additional attack which has a chance to become a super attack, just like Cooler. This is Cooler, but upgraded. A little bit upgraded, because it nerfs the opponent's attack and defense, and it has a category leader skill, which makes him better as a leader for that category. But overall, if you run this with Cooler on the same team, that is amazing. This is a must-have on an extreme team, just because of that passive skill, so that right there makes him number 3. So on number 2, we have Super Saiyan 2, Kefla, and of course she is the leader of one of the best categories in the game. She is basically the second best leader for that category, the Potara category. She has Ki plus 3, HP attack and defense plus 150%. It's not as good as, of course, the LR Vegito, but it is still an amazing category lead. If you don't have Vegito, you can still perfectly run her as the leader of that category, and makes that category really strong. Causes immense damage to enemy and greatly lowers defense, great as well. And the passive is what really makes her really viable. At least in my eyes, it makes her amazing, because she can do basically everything. She does a lot. She's a great unit to have in any team, and she changes intelligence key spheres to physical key spheres. That makes her a great physical unit for any physical team, or any super team that's more centered around physical spheres, or if you just need overall a lot of physical key spheres, she's pretty good for that. Attack and defense plus 12% per key sphere obtained. It doesn't need to be yellow spheres, it doesn't need to be physical spheres, it can be any sphere. So that makes her a nuker, which is really good as well, and kinda tanky, because 12% on defense as well. So that's pretty good as well. If she gets a lot of orbs in the turn, she can basically tank, and of course hit hard. And she has a medium chance to evade enemies' attack, including super attacks, and launches an additional attack which has a high chance to become a super attack. So guaranteed to attack twice, maybe it's gonna be 2 super attacks. She might evade the enemy's attack, included super attacks. She can evade basically anything, and she can be pretty good offensive and defensively depending on the key spheres you get for her. And she helps you with the key spheres by providing a change of intelligence key spheres to physical key spheres. That is amazing. She's an overall really good unit. Of course, the links are not the best. She could have better links. I don't usually talk about the links a lot, because I'm still kind of learning. I don't know them by memory or anything, but I do know that she could have better links, but it's still pretty good overall. And Potara category lead right there, pretty basic like that. She can't be leader of anything else. That's the kind of the downside of her, but I freaking love this unit. I love the design, I love Kefla, and overall really good for any physical team. So definitely this is my number 2. On the last spot at number 1, we have one of my favorite characters, of course. It is Super Vegito, and it's not because it's my favorite character, it is because it is the best physical unit at the moment in the game for me, because it has about everything as well. It's the category lead of Majin Buu Saga, which is a pretty good category. It's pretty decent category, honestly, and it gives Ki plus 3, HP and defense plus 170%, and attack plus 130%. Spirit Sword slash its super attack, which looks amazing. I freaking love how this super attack looks on him. And it causes immense damage to enemy and raises allies' attack by 30% for 1 turn, so that's a decent attack raise for the entire team. And the passive, damage received from normal attacks minus 50%, counters with tremendous power, plus an additional attack, plus 10% with each attack received up to 100%. So, basically this unit is a tank, and like almost every other Vegito, it can counter, and if you just let him receive attacks, his attack will get even stronger. Every time he gets attacked, he will counter and get stronger, up to 100%. So this unit overall, of course, it's really good. Link skills are amazing, and category lead, it's pretty good as well. That category is amazing. It can actually have a lot of good characters on it, and even if you're not using it as, of course, a leader, it is a must-have on the physical team because it can provide you with the minus 50% for normal attacks and the counters, and just overall insane damage, because this unit does insane damage. And overall, just my number one. It's amazing, and you guys can definitely see that physical this time. Potaro leaded that type with the two Potaro fusions. We had Kafla, and we have Vegito in number one, and overall it's just great unit. So yeah, that's my number one. And that is pretty much it for this top 5 physical types on Global Dokkan Battle. Now let me know down below in the comments which are your top 5 physical units, which ones are your favorites. It doesn't matter if it's from JP or upcoming units that you would like maybe to see. It doesn't matter. Let me know down below what would be your top 5. And of course, fire punch that like button down below if you have enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and join the Beast Army for more Pokemon and Dragon Ball content. And I will catch you all on the next one. So until then, everyone, as always, stay beast. See ya!